The name of the game is Banana Ball, and this is the fastest, most entertaining game in sports.
The Savannah Bananas were supposed to be the team everybody loved. They danced, they wore kilts, they let fans catch foul balls for outs. They turned baseball into a circus, and for years it worked. Then something changed. Suddenly, the team that sold out stadiums, built a ticket wait list in the millions, and became bigger on social media than actual MLB teams, started getting roasted by the same internet that made them famous. People called them corny, fake, a clown show, baseball for people who do not like baseball. And the craziest part is, the hate did not come because they failed. It came because they got too big. So the real question is not whether the Savannah Bananas are popular. They are. The question is whether they pushed the joke so far that baseball fans finally turned on them. And to understand that, you have to go back to when this whole thing looked like a disaster. Before the sold-out football stadiums, before ESPN, before celebrities showed up in yellow jerseys, the Bananas were just a struggling summer baseball team in Savannah, Georgia, and almost nobody wanted them. Jesse Cole, the man in the yellow tuxedo, had already learned that most people do not wake up excited to watch random college summer baseball. So he made it impossible to ignore. Weird food, strange contests, dancing, stunts, anything that could make someone say, wait, what is happening over there? Then in 2016, he bought into a team in Savannah, emptied his savings, moved into a tiny apartment, and bet everything on a name that sounded like a joke. The Savannah Bananas. People hated it. Savannah had lost real affiliated baseball. Fans were used to something more traditional. The name sounded unserious. It sounded like a kid's birthday party, not a baseball team. But that was the point. The name got attention. The attention sold tickets.
We got attention. People were talking about us. And so those first few weeks afterwards, the publicity nationally was huge. Locally, they were ripping us apart, but everyone was talking about us.
And once people walked into the ballpark, they realized this was not just baseball with a funny name. It was a show. There were dancing coaches, senior citizen cheerleaders, players doing skits, fans being pulled into the action. And somehow it worked. The Bananas sold out. They won. They sent players to pro baseball. They were both ridiculous and legitimate. But success creates pressure. Once the Bananas realized fans were leaving early in normal games, Jesse Cole came to a brutal conclusion. Maybe baseball itself was the problem, so he created Banana Ball. No bunting, no mound visits, no stepping out. 2-hour time limit. Batters can steal first. Walks turn into chaos. Fans catching foul balls count as outs. It was baseball if baseball had been rewritten by a hyperactive kid with a sugar rush. And for content, it was perfect. The clips were short. The rules were simple enough to explain fast. Every game had a moment that could blow up online. Then 2020 happened. TikTok exploded, and the Bananas started feeding the algorithm exactly what it wanted. Dances, walk-offs, shirtless players, wild rules, players on stilts, chaos in yellow uniforms. A normal baseball highlight has to compete for attention. A guy on stilts taking an at-bat does not. That was the turning point. The Bananas were no longer just a fun local team. They became a national internet machine, but the machine needed more. More dancing, more characters, more weird rules, more moments that made people stop scrolling. And that created the first real fracture. For years, the Bananas were still part of actual Summer League baseball. But new fans thought every game was Banana Ball. So when they bought tickets expecting chaos and got regular baseball with entertainment on the side, they got confused. That forced the team into a choice. Stay connected to traditional baseball, or fully become the thing the internet wanted. They chose Banana Ball. And that is where some original fans felt betrayed. The Bananas left their competitive summer league behind. They went on the road, bigger venues, more teams, more characters, more tours, more television. Local fans who supported them early now had to fight millions of people just to get tickets. Savannah had created a monster it could barely see anymore. But from a business standpoint, it was genius. The Bananas were not trying to be a minor league team anymore. They were becoming the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. And for a while, everyone loved that comparison, until the show got too big to ignore. Once you are just a fun little internet team, nobody feels threatened. But when you sell out MLB stadiums, draw 81,000 fans at a football stadium, land national TV deals, and start talking like you can build an entire sport, people stop laughing with you. They start asking what you actually are. Are the Bananas saving baseball, or are they mocking it? That is the emotional split. To kids, families, casual fans, and people who think normal baseball is slow, banana ball feels like a miracle. It is fast, it is loud, it is colorful. Nobody sits around waiting for something to happen. But to traditional baseball fans, it can feel like the sport has been reduced to a TikTok sketch. The dancing is not a bonus anymore, it is the product. The players are not just athletes, they are performers. The game is not just competition, it is content. And when a baseball fan sees that, something inside them pushes back. Because baseball fans are protective, sometimes too protective, but to them, the slow pace, the tension, the quiet moments, the strategy, the failure, the long season, that is not dead time, that is the game. The Bananas looked at those same quiet moments and said, we can fill that with a dance routine. That is funny once, maybe funny twice. But when it becomes the entire identity, some people start to cringe. That is why the backlash hit so hard. It was not one clip, it was years of people quietly thinking, okay, this is getting a little much. Suddenly the replies were full of people saying they were tired of the act, tired of the capes, tired of the dances, tired of grown men turning baseball into theater. And honestly, both sides have a point. The Bananas are corny. They are supposed to be. That is the business model. They're not trying to win over the guy who wants a pitcher's duel and a perfect sacrifice bunt. They're trying to win over the family that wants their kid to laugh for 2 hours. And that family's winning. The ticket demand is insane. The stadiums are packed, the broadcasts keep coming, the players have become characters. The brand is no longer dependent on Savannah, or even baseball. That might be the real reason some fans are angry. The Bananas did not just take baseball less seriously. They proved there is a massive audience that prefers it that way. That is uncomfortable. Because every time 80,000 people show up to watch banana ball, it makes people wonder what traditional baseball is missing. Is MLB too slow, too expensive, too serious, too disconnected from young fans? Or are the Bananas just a novelty act riding a wave that eventually crashes? That is the mystery. The Bananas may be building the future of sports entertainment, or they may be building something so loud and dependent on constant escalation that eventually the audience gets exhausted. Because once your brand is built on topping the last stunt, where does it end? A player on stilts becomes normal. A dancing umpire becomes normal. A celebrity cameo becomes normal. A sold-out stadium becomes normal. The joke has to keep getting bigger. And when the joke gets too big, it stops feeling spontaneous. It starts feeling manufactured. That is the danger. The Bananas became famous because they felt different from baseball. Now they are becoming big enough to compete with baseball. And the bigger they get, the more people will judge them like something serious. That is a hard transition. A small team can be weird. A national product has to survive being annoying. So did the Savannah Bananas take the joke too far? Maybe. But that might have been the plan the entire time. Because every time people said the name was stupid, they sold more tickets. Every time people said the rules were ridiculous, more fans watched. The Bananas are not accidentally upsetting traditional fans. They are choosing a different audience. And that audience is enormous. The real question is whether they can keep the magic while becoming a machine, whether they can stay joyful without becoming fake, whether they can grow a whole sport without losing the small-town weirdness that made people care in the first place. Because the same internet that built them can turn on them overnight. And if the Bananas become just another overproduced brand chasing viral moments, then yes, the joke went too far. But if they keep making families show up, kids fall in love with the ballpark, and people who hated baseball suddenly care about a game with bats and bases, then maybe the joke was never the problem. Maybe the problem is that baseball forgot how fun it was allowed to be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for more baseball stories, player documentaries, and deep dives into the legends who changed the game.